Hey there, Storm fans. I am Bryant Cook, and today we're playing Lotus Breach with cards from Phyrexia All Will Be One. I am talking about the Mirran Safehouse, a 3-mana artifact that gains activated abilities from lands in all graveyards, including your opponents. So, what is an activated ability? It's anything from something like a fetch land where you pay a life and get a land out of the graveyard, or Lotus Fields, tap for 3 mana of any one color. That's pretty interesting. Well, if we're trying to test this card, why should we play it in the sideboard? So I tried a league where I played it in the main deck, and it was clunky. I'll say that. It wasn't really what we wanted. I tried a full play set of Tome Scholar. It just wasn't what I was looking for. So I tried a couple other lists in the middle. They just were not quite there yet. So I did some further testing because I really wanted to provide something good for you. And I'm not trying to only upload leagues where I do well. That's not really the point. But none of the lists that I played up until this point, I felt like I was even close on with running Mirran Safehouse in the main deck. So I ended up moving it to the board. And in the board, it does something really unique for this deck. A classic weakness of this archetype is that you're a deck based on a non-basic land, which means that Blood Moon and Alpine Moon can wreck your day. Well, with Mirran Safehouse, you gain the ability from Lotus Field into the graveyard. Blood Moon and Alpine Moon only affect lands on the battlefield. So in the graveyard, this is still a land that taps for 3. So Mirran Safehouse taps for 3, and you can beat an onboard Blood Moon or Alpine Moon pretty easily. And I think that's where the real value of this card is. So instead of uploading a list where it's a little bit more showy, I'm just providing you with a real list instead. So I did play a league where I had it in the sideboard. It never came in. And I went 3-2. It was fine, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. And I really want to provide you with an experience of the card. I don't want to upload a league saying, Mirran Safehouse is the best, and then not even sideboard in the card once. It's not really that impactful. But a really cool feature of this card, or aspect of this card, is that you can actually turn 2 people with it. So the idea is that you play a turn 1 island, you can cast your Otherworldly Gaze. Turn 2, you play Lotus Field. With the sacrifice trigger on the stack, you tap your island, you twiddle, untap the Lotus Field, tap it for mana, and then play Mirran Safehouse. Your 2 lands are now in the graveyard. You have a Safehouse in play. And then from there, you can cast another twiddle in Underworld Breach, flashback your Otherworldly Gaze, look for some cards. Maybe you play a Wish Claw and you get the Tome Scholar, you win the game. Sweet. So it's hypothetically possible now. Is it likely? It's not going to be common. I haven't done it yet in any of my test leagues, so it's probably not something you should really be playing for, but it's created some cascading changes throughout our deck. So now that we have a way of beating Blood Moon, we don't have to play Spell Pierce anymore. And I think that's really, really interesting. So instead, I'm playing 3 main deck Pact of Negation for Force of Negation and Endurance. Those are really the cards we're trying to beat. So Pact of Negation makes a lot of sense to me. And then that opened up some main deck slots as well. And I've decided to go back to Sleight of Hand. So I've been feeling recently that this deck, how do I say this? It clunks out, and I've realized it's not exactly an eloquent word here, but there will be games where you draw 8 twiddles or too many lands, and that's actually been a problem with me. We're on 18 lands right now, and 4 of them are Lotus Field, but you have 4 Bobble, 4 Street Wraith, 4 Consider, 4 Otherworldly Gaze. You have a lot of ways to get your lands, and I'll end up with games where I'm just sitting with tons of lands in my hand with a 19 land deck with 4 of them that don't do anything. So I've actually shaved a land, and instead we're playing Sleight of Hand, a smoothing card. You might be thinking, why not run Serum Visions? We're a deck that's fetching constantly, and you don't want to fetch and scry constantly. It just doesn't work. So I'm back to playing Sleight of Hand, really awesome card. And I'm hoping that this provides the little bit of smoothing that I've been looking for. This is the first league where I will be playing Sleight of Hand again. And I hope that this time I get to showcase the Mirran Safehouse. In my previous video, I mentioned how I was lower on Ave Progenitor Ooze. Well, if we're cutting Spell Pierce from the main deck, I am higher on Ave than I was previously, because Ave allows you to beat Leyline of the Void. That's on the table. And if you're cutting Spell Pierce, your opponent's Graveyard Hate is more likely going to enter. But we also have Void Snare and Echoing Truth. I'm no longer playing Suspend. I've noticed recently that Leyline has just been more popular than ever, and I'm really looking to beat that card. So I've put a lot of thought into this list, and this is going to be the first one that I play with this configuration. We'll see how it goes. But hopefully I can showcase Mirran Safehouse for you in this league. I just really didn't want to upload a league where I didn't play it at all, and say, look, check out this new card. So forgive me, I don't try to curate the leagues for you, I promise, but it felt disingenuous and that's not what I wanted to provide. So let's try it again. Take two. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We're on the draw and we've opened up a no lander. So we do have 4 sleight of hands in the deck. One of them was cut for a land, so we don't know which sleight of hand was the land or not, but we need to ship this. This hand is very good. We will keep. Bottom the bauble. Okay. So we need to find land number 2 and the Tome Scour, but we have everything else we want. Scalding Tarn, we just found land 2. Play the bauble. Look at our own top card. We don't really need a second copy of Lotus Field. I'll pass for now. We'll fetch before the bauble trigger happens. They grab a Jetmir's Garden. I'll grab an island and cast the Otherworldly Gaze now. We don't really need any of these, so we're going to mill all of them. We're going to draw a blind card in their upkeep. Another Street Wraith, okay. Arid Mesa. What are you playing? So grab a Steam Vents. Is this creativity? Renin 6, okay. At the moment, we're looking for a Pact Negation and a Tome Scour. We find our land. We're just going to flash this back in my main phase. Ouch. Flashback. I think we're going to bin all of these for now. It's also possible that our graveyard is already just full enough to double Grape Shot win. They're holding open counter magic, so that Pact Negation would look pretty good here. Take a draw. Pretty sure they're on creativity. I don't really see a downside if they decide to put a large creature into play, though. I'm going to choose to be patient. I don't see why we necessarily need to run into their interaction. And if they decide to tap out, we'll just win the game. No, they're definitely creativity. Okay. They use a Prismari command. Sure thing. So they looted it and created a treasure. They plus the run to get back a land. So they returned the Blood Crypt and then didn't play it. So now we know that they're sitting with a land in their hand. Dwarven Mine. And creativity. Going to fetch in response. Otherworldly Gaze. Mill all of these. We don't want any of that. Flashback. And I think we're going to just keep the extra Twiddle. The spare Twiddle will help me beat a Spell Pierce. Discard the Street Wraith. Because they can't, what is it called? They can't Leyline Binding me right now. So all we have to beat is Spell Pierce. Twiddle. They allow it to happen. We'll tap for red. Breach. And now they'll Spell Pierce. We'll Twiddle. I mean, we don't need to do it this way. I guess one Twiddle would have worked. But either way, I'm feeling pretty confident about our position here. Twiddle again. They're at 17 life. Twiddle again. Plenty of mana. Let's cast a Consider for Storm Count. Mill the Bauble. And now we can just double Grape Shot them. Storm 8. Easy peasy. Going to the sideboard. This is unfortunately not a Mirran Safehouse matchup. They are a deck that brings in Leyline of the Void sometimes, so I'm definitely interested in some number of Ave. And I think we want to bring in extra bounce spells as well. Take out Street Wraith. I'm okay with going down on copies of Pact and Negation. They have Spell Pierce and Leyline Binding, and that's pretty much it. I don't think we want too many of those effects. I think I'm actually going to shave a couple copies of Otherworldly Gaze. Now that we have Sleight of Hand, we're able to board those out in matchups where our opponents have more graveyard hate because we have more cantrips in our deck. So when it's not a speed-based matchup, we can board out the cards that are just pure mill. It gives our deck a little bit more flexibility. This hand is sweet. Keep. Our opponents decided to keep their 7-card hand. Wooded Foothills. Okay, we're just going to cast the Sleight of Hand here, looking for land 2. Guess we'll take the Breach. And because we didn't find the land, we'll play out Bobble. Target ourselves to see if we draw it. Alright, and because we don't, I'm going to play out this Bobble. I was going to keep them initially for Storm Count, but it's not a luxury we have at the moment. Xander's Lounge. Leyline Binding is their top card. Cool, cool. Leyline of the Void, Lotus Field. Okay, so I'm not going to complain about drawing field. I would still like another land, but we could theoretically do the Lotus Field trick. It's not really a trick, but you can twiddle Lotus Field before it would sacrifice. So if you have multiple twiddles, you can twiddle a bunch of times into Ave. Our opponent deciding on this Consider. We'll mill the Pact and Negation. We've found our Steam Vents. We'll play that. Pass the turn. Jetmir's Garden. Land pass, okay. We'll do the same. Untap Steam Vents. Prismari Command. Discards Archon of Cruelty and creates a treasure. So if they have something like a Persist here, they can reanimate. And it is in fact Persist. I'm going to discard the Wishclaw. I don't think we actually need this card. Blood Crypt tapped. Okay. So we know that they have a Leyline Binding, so I'm going to attempt to bounce the treasure token. So now we just need to beat Spell Pierce. Lotus Field. Twiddle. They allow me to untap there. That would have been a good time to Spell Pierce. Underworld Breach. Breach happens, we will twiddle again. Removing some lands. Twiddle resolves. Twiddle again. Let's attempt a Void Snare on the Archon, see if they do anything here. Play Consider. Remove the Pact and Negation, Echoing Truth, Void Snare. I'm just going to Ave, which can't be hit by Flusterstorm, so I don't even have to play around Fluster here because we have the Ace in our hand already. I'll keep that in hand, but I'm not going to cast it. I'm just going to Ave. There's no need to theoretically jinx and lose to some sort of weird combination of cards in their hand, like Flusterstorm plus something else. Like, we have Slime Time, we have the game wrapped up, let's just do it. Can't Flusterstorm this. It's Slime Time. Breach goes to the graveyard, we'll pass the turn. And our opponent concedes. Well, that's match number 1. I am sorry we didn't get to use Mirran Safehouse, but a win is a win. I'll take it. Match number 2 coming up. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. On the draw for match 2, we're going to keep. The only thing that this hand needs is a Twiddle effect, which we have 8, and then Underworld Breach, and we have 2 tutors that are, able to do that. If they're on a blue deck, we can also look at one of these Wish Claws as a protection spell with Pact and Negation. Verdant Catacombs. No longer looking like a Pact and Negation matchup. Ignoble Hierarch. So this is probably Yawgmoth. Well, there's our Breach. We just need a Twiddle now. We're going to try to slow them down just a hair. So we'll grab the Steam Vents and let's just bounce their Ignoble Hierarch. Just slow you down just a wee bit. Dryad Arbor, Ignoble Hierarch. Well, we found our pact, but not what the doctor ordered. Really wanted to draw a Twiddle. Pass the turn. Even if I... Okay, so if I play Claw here, and then use it next turn to get a Twiddle, it's still not good enough to win. Because the Underworld Breach is cast off the Lotus Field, so you'd have a red floating post-Breach, which is a little weird. Wall of Roots. Nurturing Peatland, 3 cards in hand. Strangler Root Geist. I guess it's just Strangle Root. I don't know why I added an extra sound in there. Young Wolf, 1 card in hand. Take a draw. Not it. We tap the Watery Grave, we go get Twiddle. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Play the Wishclaw. Sack our lands, we'll pass. 2 cards in hand. Having Yawgmoth is not out of the realm of question. They sacrifice the Peatland. They play a Blooming Marsh, still 2 cards. Grist. Not afraid of Grist here. Okay. I'm fine with this. Draw. Looks like we were given a win we probably didn't deserve here. Tap this for blue. We'll activate Wishclaw. So this is a matchup where we're allowed to board a Mirran Safehouse, though. A lot of these lists play a Magus in the Moon in the board, and it allows us to beat that. Underworld Breach. Activate. Oh, I guess I already have the Scour in hand. We'll just grab the Grape Shot. It's fine. Twiddle. Untap. Yes, they're at 16. Tap for blue. Tome Scours from 4. Scour again. And they concede. Nice. Alright, so we get to board in. We want Leylines for their Thoughtseize effects. And then we want Mirran Safehouse. Packs are okay for Endurance. 68 cards. Probably take out the Sleight of Hands. This is a speed-based matchup. Maybe 4 Pact is wrong. Like, they are an Endurance deck, but I feel like 4 is a lot, especially when we're bringing in Leylines. Like, I could see only leaving in 1 Pact. And let's do 2 Mirran Safehouse. Like, they're a Magus deck, but they have 1. It's a tutor target. And we opened up the Safehouse with double Leyline. Sure, we'll keep this. Put double Leyline into play, I guess. Wasn't really what I wanted to be doing. Basic Forest into Bird. Bobble. Play Consider. Well, we're getting a Lotus Field to the graveyard for the Safehouse, and we drew the 1 of Pact. Okay. Let's see their top card. Port of Calling. Draw off the Bobble. Another Leyline. Awkward. Our draw has been a little bit weird. Strangleroot Geist, yep. Young Wolf. I'm afraid that I'll be dead before I can do anything meaningful with the way that our draws have been. Oh, come on. That's just brutal. Pass. Full place at a Leyline of Sanctity. Basic Swamp. There's the Yawgmoth. So they can pay a whole bunch of life here, draw a lot of cards with the Strangleroot Geist. They swing for 3. Take a draw. I'm going to pick this one up. Our draws were about as bad as they could be. We're going to try to do better on the play in game 3. Awkward. On the play. No Leyline. I think I'm going to keep it, though. I'll end up regretting it. Like, they'll Necromentia me and I'll lose or whatever. Okay. Misty will play a Bobble. Look at the top card. Otherworldly Gaze is a good one. I'll take that. Blooming Marsh. Young Wolf. Grab a Watery Grave. Ouch. In case we draw a Wishclaw Talisman. Otherworldly Gaze. And there's a Lotus Field. We will take Lotus Field. We're looking at maybe a turn 3 here. Play the land and pass. Twilight Mire. Strangleroot. Attacks for 3. I think I'm going to flashback the other Whirly Gaze. Would really like to find a pact here. Granted, we only have the one, but I'm going to mill the Wishclaw. Let's see it. Pact? No pact. Alright. I believe we're supposed to just get going, so that's what we're going to do here. Dream's Grip. Untap. They're not F6'd. Lotus Breach. And there it is. They pitch Evolution. So in theory, I could Dream's Grip into Consider, which gives me exactly 3 cards in graveyard. I think we're probably just supposed to pass the turn. Mill the land. Beautiful. Leyline of Sanctity. They swing 3, we go to 10. They have land 3. Play the Leyline, and we'll pass. Land 4. So if this is Yawgmoth, he can swing for 4, putting me to 6. This is not looking good for us. Okay. So they have lethal on board. I'm pretty free to cycle the Street Wraith. We have to get incredibly lucky in order to win this. Cycle the Street Wraith. Does that do it? Don't think it does. I can play Breach, but so in order to do it, so you might be looking at this and going, Bryant, you have 6 mana. That is true. I do have 6 mana, but it's going to be Breach with a red floating. I guess I could try to twiddle to stay alive. They have lethal if they kill their Yawgmoth on my end step, and they didn't do it. Beginning of combat, we will tap the Strangleroot Geist. Okay. Did I mess up here? It was the only play I could make. Oh, so I'm just dead anyway. Yeah, okay. Because if I tapped one of the other 2, I was dead to the Geist. So there's just nothing I could have done. That's unfortunate. Alright, we lost 1-1.
Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game.
Match 3, we're on the draw. I will keep Blood Crypt, so likely Rakdos Scam. And it's tapped. Okay. We find land 2. That's great. Sleight of hand. Take the Twiddle. Play a pair of Bogles and we'll pass. I think I might sit on these. I'm not sure. We have everything we need to win the game in our hand. So we just need to untap on turn 3 with these same cards and we win, assuming that they're on Rakdos. Burning Inquiry. So they're not on Rakdos Scam. That stinks. Oh, well, we kept all the important cards still in our hand. They discarded a pair of Fury and Waste Not. Okay, they shocked and passed. On their end step, we'll bobble. Electro Dominance, okay. We'll just do it again, it's fine. Not really sure what this deck is trying to Electro Dominance, but maybe we should tap Blood Crypt in their upkeep, I'm not sure. I could also mill them with Tome Scour. Draw for turn. I like the idea of milling them here. Wheel of Fate. So they're on a bit of a brew, says the guy playing Lotus Breach. I get it. Manamorphose. They make black-red and play Bloodbraid Mauler. Profane Tutor, sure. So as long as you have Delirium, it has Cascade. And they milled into Profane Tutor. So they could get something like a Grief here to slow me down. The Bloodbraid Mauler resolves. They play Marsh Flats, sure. Blood Crypt. They're at 14. What are you holding open? Is it like a lightning bolt? Should I know what you're holding open? Because it doesn't make sense to me. Oh, our steam vents is in the graveyard. That's awkward. We actually needed that steam vents. Do we still have it? I think we do. Untap. Tap for red. Underworld Breach. Untap. Storm 3. We already have the Tome Scour. We don't even need to Wishclaw. Scour again. We also have a Pact of Negation backup at this point. And there's the Grape Shot. Twiddle. We can double Grape Shot from here. Tap for red. Grape Shot you. What a weird deck. And Grape Shot you. Off to game number 2. So they are a red deck. I'm going to guess that they have Blood Moons. I'm going to bring in the Safe House. I don't know if they actually have targeted discards, so I'm not so sure about the ley lines. We could get rid of these packs. I am somewhat interested in more bounce spells, but I'm not sure if that's actually good or not. We have 5 bounce spells. I'm going to cut Sleight of Hand. I think we want the speed of Street Wraith. We could board in 1 Ooze as a backup, but I'm not really sure what their deck is doing, so it seems unfair. And against an unfair deck, I don't know if I like the Ooze. Sure. This hand looks like a hand that might be capable of a turn 2. Turn 1 Blood Crypt. Untapped, okay. Another Mirran Safehouse. Let's cycle Street Wraith now, because if we draw into Bobble, I want to be able to play the Bobble. Twiddle. Cycle. And there's Bobble. Look at our top card. We'll keep that. So we have a guaranteed turn 2 Mirran Safehouse. We can find another Twiddle. This is a turn 2 at the moment. Assuming our opponent doesn't do anything, right? Oh, I would love a turn 2. Come on. Just play something I don't care about, please. Pretty please. Swamp. That's a card I don't care about. So, if we otherworldly gaze into a Twiddle, we can go for a turn 2. Come on, please, deck. We have 7 Twiddles. Pretty please. Yes! Okay, turn 2 coming up. Can't believe we're here. Let's go. LFG. Okay, let's do it. Alright, so this trigger on the stack. We will Twiddle Lotus Field. Yes, I'd like to untap, and then we'll tap it for triple blue. Lotus Field. Sack these. Mirran Safehouse. This taps for 3 mana now. I guess we could play another Mirran Safehouse. Tap for blue. Untap the Mirran Safehouse. Tap for red. Underworld Breach. Untap Mirran Safehouse. We have to leave Lotus Field. We're not allowed to escape Lotus Field. If you do that, your land's no longer tapped for 3. Let's escape Otherworldly Gaze. None of these do it. Tap for triple blue. Escape Otherworldly Gaze. Land. Consider Twiddle. Uh-oh. Not looking good, boo-boo. Okay. I could just flash back Otherworldly Gaze and use the red mana we have. I'm going to Twiddle. We can remove the other Twiddle. Yes. And I'll just flash back. Boo. Boo. Okay, so now we'll tap for blue. Escape Consider. From 10. Wishclaw doesn't do it. We'll mill the Wishclaw. Another Breach. I think I'm actually supposed to just pass here. We almost have a turn, or almost had a turn 2. Next turn I can play Breach plus other stuff. We'll just pass. So close to a turn 2. Do your thing, opponent. So close. I wanted it. Another Waste Not. Land. And they're passing. We have another opportunity here. Tap for blue, cast Consider. Keep the Twiddle. Untap. I think we might have it by escaping Wishclaw. Tap for red. Breach. We have 8. We escape these. Hold on. I don't know if this actually does it. So, Wishclaw goes into play. Let's say we exile the 2 Twiddles on top and the Consider. That leaves us with 4 cards in graveyard, so I can't escape Twiddle. We're actually color short here. Am I really supposed to escape Twitter? Or, Consider? We're 1 card short, because I'm not allowed to remove this Lotus Field. Okay. Consider. Mill the land. Doesn't do anything. Just constantly short this game. Am I supposed to just like play Claw Pass? This game is an embarrassment. Ah, geez. Having the Claw in play guarantees our ability to get the 4th Underworld Breach, which, I don't know. We gave our opponent too much time. I wouldn't be surprised if they just won here. Land for turn, they have 4 cards in hand. Electro Dominance is red-red. They currently don't have that. 3 mana. Leyline of the Void. Annoying. Draw for turn. Another Lotus Field. Lovely. We'll pass. Shieldred. Okay. Another Wishclaw. Tap for triple black. We'll play the Claw. Pass the turn. So they're a Shieldred wheel deck. I get the joke now. If they don't wheel here, we might have a win on our turn. Waste Not number 3, sure. I previously played a Waste Not red-black deck here on the channel. I feel like this card just doesn't have enough support in Modern, and they accidentally skip their attack step. Draw. Well, we can lose 4 life and draw a card. Big fan of that. Let's activate. We'll go get Void Snare. Bounce the Leyline. Lose 4 life to cycle. I guess they get zombies, but I don't really care about that. Draw card. So another Bobble. Play the Bobble. Play the Lotus Field just so we have another card in the graveyard to escape away. Bobble you. Underworld Breach. We do have it this time. Untap. Now we'll activate Wishclaw. Go get the Scour that we couldn't find. Tap for blue. Scour ourselves. Scour ourselves. My only concern now is we only have 19 cards in deck. We have to generate Lethal Storm. Okay. Scour. You can remove 1 Lotus Field. Scour again. Term's 9. There's the Grave Shot. Untap. Okay, we'll tap for blue. Dreamscript again. Remove Bobble. Consider. Otherworldly Gaze. Term's 11. We have exactly enough cards to double Grape Shot here. Okay. Look at us go. This turned out to be a really weird game. We got there. We are 2-1, 2 matches left. We got to use the Mirran Safehouse, and we almost had a turn 2, but just came up short. Wow. This was a weird one, but I'm glad I actually got to use the card. Pretty happy about that. Let's see how the last 2 matches go. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match number 4, we're on the draw. We will keep. We have a hand where we need to find Lotus Field and then Underworld Breach, and we have everything else. We have a Mishra's Bobble and a Wishclaw. Wishclaw guarantees one of the two. Hopefully between our draw steps and Mishra's Bobble, we find the other. Opponent with a mulligan and plays Dryad Arbor. I generally like my odds against Dryad Arbor decks. Grape Shot. Let's play the Bobble. Target ourselves, sleight of hand. Don't think we're really in a spot for sleight of hand at the moment. Grab a watery grave, and we'll just pass the turn. Like, sleight of hand is fine, but it's not actually a card we want, and if we look at how this hand plays out, we want to be able to turn to Wishclaw plus other things. Okay, so they're on an Ores deck. Is it really worth it here to just kill? I mean, I could kill the Light Paws. I have to burn the Dream's Grip. Yeah, I guess that's what we're doing. We'll untap Watery Grave. I don't love this play. But I don't think my hand can outrace the Light Paws. I could have waited on the Bobble, but I decided against it on turn 1. I didn't think that I thought that they might have been on, like, Modern Elves with the turn 1 Dryad Arbor start. They play a Forest, 4 cards in hand. So they're going to suit up the Arbor. We'll take 4 down to 12. Draw for turn. Twiddle Twiddle. Wishclaw. Pass the turn. We can twiddle the creature to buy time if need be. Cartouche of Solidarity, sure thing. 2 cards in hand. So they're attacking for 5. I'm going to go to 7, and they have 6 damage on board for next turn. On their end step, we'll cast Consider. We're still looking for Lotus Field or Underworld Breach. There it is. That should be a win. Take a draw. Bobble. I mean, I'm not going to complain about being in a spot where I can win this game, but Bobble is not an ideal draw. Play the Bobble. Whittle Lotus Field. Yes. Bobble you. Spirit Link. Tap Lotus Field for blue. We will activate. Go get an Underworld Breach. Steam Vents. There we go. Untap. Storm 4. Dream Script again. Target the Lotus Field. I don't know why. I tried to target myself with Dream Script there. Can't do that. So this is Storm 5. Scour ourselves. Storm 6. Target ourselves. This is 7. And now back-to-back Grape Shots is lethal. 8+9. It's silly. I'm going to keep going. It's not me trying to showboat. It's... I don't know if they have the ability to gain life at instant speed. And I don't want to lose to something silly if I don't have to. Untap the Lotus Field. Storm 9. Tap for red. Now a Grape Shot. We have a Pact of Negation in the graveyard now. 10 damage coming in. So I would guess that this is a Bogles variant. I mean, I haven't seen modern Bogles in a while, but I'm guessing that's what the Light Paws means. Target you. Once again, we're going to leave the Pact of Negation in there, so that way we can have it as backup. Click, click, boom! Sweet. Game 2. I'm going to leave 1 Pact in the deck in case they have something like Blossoming Defense. Maybe I'm being paranoid here. But I feel like leaving 1, or like even for something like Endurance, it's like sort of free. Which means that we have 2 open slots. We can try 2 Echoing Truth. I don't really love Ave against the large creature deck with Lifelink and a bunch of stuff like that. And they're not a Blood Moon deck as far as I know. So I don't think we necessarily need the Mirran Safehouse. I could try bringing in the Void Snares, but it would come at the cost of something like Sleight of Hand or Street Wraith. I'm not sure if that's actually worthwhile. Game number 2, we've opened up double Lotus Field, unfortunately not a keep. Okay, this looks reasonable. I think we can get rid of a Sleight of Hand here. Windswept Heath. Great Temple Garden. Bogle, Bogle, Bogle. So we need to try to turn 3 here. Well, that's certainly a good start. Polluted Delta Pass. We're looking for land 2, Lotus Field, and a Twiddle. That too much to ask for? Spider Umbra? Sure thing. Only 2 damage? I love that. Okay, so we're going to Lightning Bolt ourselves here, going down to 15. Grab the Watery Grave. Otherworldly Gaze. I don't think I'm allowed to keep the Twiddle. I mean, I would love it, but we just have to find land number 2 here if we want to win this game. We'll cycle Street Wraith. We found Lotus Field. Come on, land 2, please. Cycle Wraith down to 11. There we go. So here's a question. Should I... Playing Wishclaw here doesn't give me a turn 3, but if I end step Otherworldly Gaze and hit a Twiddle, it is a turn 3. I think I'm supposed to pass and just try to take the odds on the Otherworldly Gaze. We have 7 Twiddles in our deck at 45 cards. I also need them to not kill me. Okay. We're going to 8. I have a bad feeling about this. This feels like a rest in peace. Drannith Magistrate. Okay, we're going to flash this back. There's the Twiddle. Okay. So they have 3 damage in play. I mean, I just have to play the Claw in Lotus Field here and hope that they don't kill me. We have a Void Snare in our deck for the Drannith. They have 5 cards. Like, you have to be able to deal 8 damage here. Rancor, that's close. That's not enough. That only puts me to 2. Okay, so you're saying that there's a chance. Draw. Bobble ain't it. So first step here is we'll Twiddle. Yes, and then tap for triple red. Activate the Wishclaw. Go get Void Snare. We will bounce the Drannith. Play Underworld Breach using the remaining 2 red. Play Bobble. Twiddle on the Lotus Field. Yes. Twiddle on Lotus Field. Yes. Tome Scour from hand. Storm 7. Okay. Liking my odds now. Twiddle. Storm number 9. Bobble you. Another Bogle on top. Scour ourselves. Remove the land, the Bobble, and one of the 2 Echoing Truths. There's the Grape Shot. Okay. Double Grape Shot incoming. Storm 11. We are about to be 3-1. First Grape Shot resolves, and then the second. Ping, ping, ping. Click, click, boom. Okay. Haven't seen this deck in a long time. Alright, so 3-1, 1 match left to go. Not that I want to face a Blood Moon deck. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to face it. But it'd be nice if I got to showcase the card one more time. Mirran Safehouse is the card, obviously, that we're talking about. Stick around, watch match number 5, and find out. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Welcome to the 5th and final match with Mirran Safehouse in the sideboard. Okay, we've opened up a 3-lander on the play. I think that this is probably fine. Okay, the opponent's ready to begin. We can play Bobble. And another Bobble. Let's look at our top card. I suppose I'll take an Underworld Breach. Flooded Strand and pass. Alright, so we're facing likely Rakdos Scam. It is a possible Blood Moon matchup. Red mana. Ragavan, okay. I'm going to just consider here. Let's grab our Black Source for Wishclaw. Play the Consider. Mill Bobble. Use this one on your Terminate. Sure, that's a card I am happy for you to have. We'll draw off Bobble. Lotus Field's a good one. Double Field, not as good. Play Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. You might be thinking, why not tap their Blackleaf Cliffs? That way they can't play Dothy. Our opponent has a Ragavan in play, so as long as they have another land in hand, they can play the Dothy Voidwalker anyway. And if I'm going to win this game, I probably need both of these Twiddles. They play a Bloodstained Mire. Ragavan connects, we go to 15. Trigger happens. Steam Vents. That actually hurts a little. I wanted that Steam Vents. My plan was to fetch it. And I know that you're supposed to fetch for a one-of land like that pre-Ragavan, but I didn't want to give them information because I wouldn't... Oh, and they have the Dothy anyway. Brutal. Just brutal. We have one Void Snare. Yeah. That hurts. Everything went wrong this turn. Into Thoughtseize. Wow. Maybe I should have conceded there. Maybe I shouldn't have allowed them to see my hand. Brutal. They take Underworld Breach, and they pass. I was probably supposed to concede to the Dothy. We ripped Wishclaw, which is fine, because that gives us the answer in the Void Snare. But we still need to draw an Underworld Breach now. We'll play the Lotus Field. Them having 2 lands in exile to the Dothy doesn't matter. Okay, so Dothy and Ragavan swing in. We'll go to 9. Ragavan triggers and hits a Street Wraith. They very quickly fetch with the Bloodstained Mire. And you have one of your main deck Blood Moons. Alright, our opponent opened up on a very good hand against us. We just have to concede, unfortunately. Cool. Alright, so we need to get one of the post-board games. Actually, we need to get both of the post-board games. So we're interested in the Safe House. We want Ave. We want Ley Lines. We can get rid of the packs. I'm going to ask a really silly question right now. How crazy would it be if we boarded out the Breach package? Probably too insane. I just want to see what it would look like. That doesn't work because the Mirran Safehouse, we'd have to leave in mill spells for it. Alright, this is a bad idea. Bring in the Void Snares. Probably take out Street Wraith. Trim a couple copies of Otherworldly Gaze. That's 62. Actually, we're just going to trim all of them. Will be a deck with more value in it with the Sleight of Hands. Okay, we'll see what we can do here. On the play for game number 2. This hand is very, very good. Keep, keep, keep. Run it with a fast mulligan. I believe we're just trying to set up an Ave Progenitor Ooze game, if possible. Leyline on the battlefield. Let's start off with a Sleight of Hand. Take the Wishclaw. Play Bobble. They can't Thoughtseize us because we have the Leyline. And we'll pass. So you might be asking, why not wait and use the interaction with Scalding Tarn? No matter what, I am going to play a turn 2 Wishclaw. Well, Ave was a really good draw. In theory, if we drew a Twiddle, we could sack both of our lands and make 3 Ooze tokens. I don't know if that's really the best move, though. And they opened up on Grief plus the Undying effect, but we have Leyline. They pitched a Thoughtseize, 3 cards in hand. We drew a Bobble. We're going to hang on to that. We'll fetch down to 17. Ouch. Play a Wishclaw. We want this for Storm Count for Ave. They swing 4, we'll go to 13. Land number 2. No Dothy. Draw. Twiddle, twiddle. That was a really good one. Sack 2 lands. Untap. Tap for blue. Twiddle. Yes. Play a Bobble. Bobble them. They have a Voidwalker on top. We'll tap this for red. We're going to go grab an Underworld Breach. We want this Ooze to be a little bit larger. Twiddle on the Lotus Field. Remove 3 lands. Yes, I'd like to untap. We'll play a Bobble. It's like kind of free to do so here. Spell number 6 and spell number 7 will be Ave Progenitor Ooze. Slime time. Ave looking pretty good this league. Draw off the Bobble, Polluted Delta, and they concede. Okay, we're going to game 3 for the 4-1. Resubmit. Ideal hand. An island, Lotus Field, Leyline, triple Twiddle, Ave. That would be my pick of hands. Okay, here we are. We've opened up a 5-lander on the draw. I mean, it has Lotus Field in it. It's just, do we think that this hand is actually good enough to beat Rakdos Scam? They kept 7. We're going to ship this. This is better. We'll get rid of the bobble. I mean, it doesn't have Leyline in it, but I'm not going to ship this. Like, this hand is very good. We have an answer to Dothy. Obviously, we have most of the combo. And they open up on Fury. Pitching Seasoned Pyromancer. And the Undying Effect. I think we're going to just bounce the Fury on turn 1. Let's slow down their clock. They have 3 cards in hand. Draw for turn. Another land. We did not need land number 4. Grab a basic. How about you put that Fury right back in your hand? Pass. Land number 2. No follow-up. We're going to... I think we're going to shock here. Sleight of hand. Take the Consider. Mirran Safehouse is like interesting here, but we're somewhat close to being able to win with this Underworld Breach. They have a land. And technically, we already have the answer for Blood Moon in our graveyard. We have Void Snare. If this was a Blood Moon, they should have fetched a basic Swamp, so I don't think it is. Seasoned Pyromancer. Sure thing. They discard Fury and Fable. 3 cards in hand. On their end step, we will cast Consider. Mill the Polluted Delta. Another land. Brutal. So, I could play Breach here. We'd have to get pretty lucky. The downside is if they drew Thoughtseize off the Seasoned Pyromancer. So we play Lotus Field, 2 cards go to the graveyard. We have 8 cards. Dreamscript is 9. So I can cast Dreamscript into Consider, and then that's it. Like, we might get one more escape after that, but it'd have to be another Dreamscript. So that Consider needs to find Tome Scour, and it's asking a lot. So I think instead we're just going to play Scalding Turn and pass the turn. It sucks, but I think that this is actually just the right play. They attack for 4, we'll take it, going down to 12. Grief pitching the Unearth effect, so we're going to lose our Underworld Breach here. I wonder if they drew the Grief this turn, or if they drew the black card, because they could have played Grief post Seasoned Pyromancer. Obviously, you just take the Underworld Breach here. I really don't think it was right to go for it last turn, but it looks bad when our opponent just has Grief. The odds that we would have won off 2 escapes are just so low. Another Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, they have 1 card. They discard a Fury. So they have 7 damage coming in. They play a land. I'm going to fetch. So now we need to draw one of the other 3 Underworld Breaches. Or like an Ooze to buy time. Draw. That doesn't do it. Pass the turn. We'll bobble them. And their top card is Dothy Voidwalker. Oh, that's brutal. Yep. So they're attacking for 7. I'll go to 4. We have 2 draws on our turn between the bobble and our draw step to hit an Underworld Breach. I was thinking about it while they were considering their attacks. If we draw exactly Breach, we can play Breach, escape Void Snare, and then play Lotus Field and twiddle it. 4 black. They're going to hardcast Grief instead. Sure. That seems weird to me, but okay. 2 draws at Underworld Breach. Come on. Please. Come on, deck. 1 off bobble. Draw step. Slime time is not good enough here. Consider. Wow. We hit it. Breach. Play Lotus Field. Dream's Grip, untap the Lotus Field. Remove some lands. This isn't a guaranteed win. We have a couple considers, but we don't have a win. Untap. You can remove the Void Snare. We don't need that right now. Play Consider. We have enough to escape the Dreamscript one more time if need be. I think we're supposed to mill Void Snare. It just doesn't do anything here. We'll mill another land. Jeez. Okay, so it's decision time. I have 4 blue. I can escape, consider again, but if I do, I'm giving up Ave. Ave is obviously very good, but we are at 4 life. I have to block the grief with 2 creatures. If I escape, consider, we end up with 3 cards in graveyard with a twiddle and then a random card. Or I can take 7 guaranteed oozes with them having a Dothy in hand. I don't know what the right pick is. They have 6 blockers, which means if I swing out, they just block a couple and then swing back and kill me. I think I need to take the big swing on the consider here. We hit twiddle. I think I just take that. And now we untap the Lotus Field. This is not a guaranteed win. Slime time. Okay. Like I said, they still have Dothy Voidwalker, which is a real problem for us. Dothy Voidwalker has Shadow. They drew a land. They play the Dothy. Come on, deck, be good to me. Twiddle. So that means we can tap the Dothy. So let's think this through. So let's say I swing out, hypothetically. I have 8 creatures, they can block 6 of them. So even if so, they would take 5 minimum. But they wouldn't do that. They would leave... One, this thing can't block. But they would also leave like a grief back or something. So if I leave back 5 and swing 3... What if I swing the 4 biggest? What happens then? On their turn, we tap a Dothy. They swing, I have to double block. Block, I go to 1. Okay, so I think that's the plan. We're going to swing with our 4 largest creatures. And that also assumes that our opponent... Never mind, this attack is fine. I at least believe it is. So we block here. And then we can block. Yeah, we're okay. Swing with the 4 largest. Okay. So they would take 13 at the moment. They might want to consider blocking with 1 Pyromancer, because then they could... yeah, so now they're seeing it, because then they can make 2 elementals on their turn. They see it now. Okay. So they're at 4. Play Polluted Delta. Pass the turn. They go to 3. Okay. What's happening here? They dash a Ragavan. This is an interesting one because now they can't Season Pyromancer. Let's go to beginning of combat. So I have to double block Grief. So I can block Grief with these 2. And then block here, block there. They have 2. They get in and I go to 2 life. Tap Dothy. They don't get the Twiddle because the effect needs to resolve before we get the replacement exile. Or at least that's how I believe that this works. Yes, I would like to tap it. They're spending 2 mana to give Ragavan Fear. Okay. I don't believe that matters. Go to blocks. And now we take 3 going to 1. Okay. Misty Rainforest. Oh, so their out was like me having like a lightning bolt in my deck? I see. Okay, so we got the 4-1. Pretty sweet. Okay, so we got to do a little bit of the Mirran Safehouse stuff. You got to see me attempt a turn 2 kill. Ave really overperformed this league. I never missed Suspend. I actually really liked the bounce spells in the sideboard. We never really saw too many Leyline of the Voids, but the bounce spells felt pretty good. I don't know if I'd change anything. I like the sleight of hand package. Going down to 18 lands felt wonderful. I never really flooded too badly. I don't know. This list just felt really good. If you have any thoughts, let me know. I'm certainly open to hearing it. I could see going down one bounce spell. Maybe 5 is a lot, but I'm not sure what I'd add. I've been pretty low on Needle recently. It could be the Needle slot. And why not? Let's open up our chest, see if we get anything good. Oh, we opened up a Mirran Safehouse. How perfect. I mean, I own these ones, but... and then some Mythic. Cool. Pact of the Titan? I've been told that card's modern playable. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed Mirran Safehouse. Have a great day, and keep storming.
Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.